Yo, what's up, guys? Back with another fucking banger story. This one is a certified hood classic. It's super fucking fire. I've told this story before to my friends, and they all seem to think it's a fucking banger. So I want to tell it right here, right now. It happened all the way back in fucking 11th grade, and as you guys know, 11th grade was the time of sneaking out. It was the time of getting in trouble. It was the time of fucking goonery. And as you can probably imagine, my parents, at this particular point in time, were grounding me a lot. So I wasn't really able to hang out or have my phone or anything. And I was constantly in trouble because my parents were either finding shit in my room or they were just, catching me doing some bad stuff or I don't know, whatever it was. I was just always in trouble. So basically, it was kind of a weird time in my life. With being grounded and stuff. I was grounded so much that I didn't have a phone, but I was still able to go to my friend Chandler's house because his parents were always there and stuff, and they would keep an eye on us and stuff like that. So basically, it was a Friday night, and I was hanging out with my friend Nolan beforehand, and I wasn't fully grounded. I just didn't have a phone. I guess for some background context, my parents like to keep their old phones, and they don't get rid of them or anything. And I went into my fucking parents' room, and my mom, she had an old, what's it called? An old Google Pixel, the first generation, Google Pixel 1. She had a Google Pixel 1. And it was a shit phone, guys. Let me just tell you right now. This phone was a piece of shit. It was so bad. Alright, let me just explain. Basically, I would charge the entire phone. It was USB-C, luckily. That's the one saving grace about it. But it would disconnect from the Wi-Fi all the time. I couldn't call on it, obviously, because it was an old phone. Just so if you guys didn't catch on, I stole my mom's old phone because I didn't have a phone at this point, and I wanted to use Snapchat. I wanted to text my friends. I wanted to watch YouTube and stuff when they were asleep. So I took my mom's old phone from her room, and I was using it, and I was charging it and stuff. And fucking, let me just explain this. This phone would randomly die at 16%, all the way up to 16%, sometimes at 18%. It would just randomly shut off and die, and I would turn it back on, and it would be at 7% and then shut off again, and then it would just be dead. And it fucking sucked. It was horrible. So the phone just never worked properly. It was horrible. And when it was in cold conditions, if you guys already know from previous videos, I live in a cold weather state, so it gets freezing cold. It was probably, I think maybe around January or February. It was it was pretty cold at this point because I live in, a northern state where it gets cold. And fucking, I don't know if you guys know this, but batteries and stuff get affected. They can die quicker and stuff in colder weather or hotter weather. So that just made the phone all the worse. It just made the battery tenfold worse in the cold. So I was outside with my friend Nolan, and I made a plan with Chandler to go to his house on this Friday, and I already told my parents, yeah, Chandler's gonna come and pick me up. I'm gonna go to his house. So my parents thought, because I left the house without them watching me leave, I told my parents Chandler's parents came and got me. I told them that his parents already they came to my house and picked me up. So my parents thought I got in the car with him and went to his house already. But truly, I just walked out the door and went to my friend Nolan's house because he lived close to me. And I made a plan with Chandler to go to his house after meeting up with a coworker friend who was going to sell me alcohol. Because I was fucking, I was in 11th grade. I was 15, 16 years old. I can't buy alcohol for myself. So I was hitting up my fucking coworker friend, and he was chill as hell. He was like, yeah, I got you for the weekend. He got me also, just to preface this too, I brought along with me a little string bag, and I had my winter coat on, which has a lot of pockets, but not nearly enough for a 24-pack, but I had a string bag, so that was decent, I guess. But a 24-pack is a lot of beer, guys. I don't know if you know this. 24 fucking cans of beer. What the fuck? I'm baked as fuck, guys. I hit my cart. I hit my cart every fucking video, but I'm extraordinarily baked right now. But I had 24 cans of beer, and we were just walking around, and it was getting cold out. My friend Nolan had to go home. I was drinking quite a few cans of beer, so I was getting kind of drunk. I drank 5 or 6. We were just walking around. I was waiting for my friend Chandler to respond, and I was using my friend Nolan's hotspot because I didn't have I didn't have data or anything because this was my mom's old phone, so I had to use my friend's hotspot. But it was getting late out, and he was drinking too a little bit. But it was getting late out. My phone was gonna die. He had to go home, and he was like, "All right, dude, I gotta go home. Hopefully, Chandler answers soon." And eventually Chandler just told me straight up, I couldn't come over. He was like, "Yeah, dude, sorry, my parents changed their mind." But as you guys already know, I told my parents I got picked up already. Like, I told them his fucking parents were outside, so I can't exactly just go back home and just tell them, like, yeah, never mind. At least that was my thought process at this point, because I had a bag of beer with me. My winter coat was filled with beer cans, so I couldn't just, walk inside. I probably smelled like beer a little bit. I was kind of drunk. So my thought process was to find my friend Ashley's house. I don't think she'll ever find this video, so I don't really care if people know her name. My friend Ashley, she was like 22. She was quite a bit older, but we were hanging out with her for some reason. We were sneaking out, hanging out with her. She was a horrible influence. We'd get there's a lot of stories I gotta tell you guys. Like, there was one time she had a beater car. I didn't even have my license, but I hit a bong. If you guys know what moon rocks are, I hit fucking a bong with moon rocks in it 3 times. 3 times. It was like 3 a.m, and I picked up my friend Chandler in a beater car down the highway. Insane. That's pretty much the story, but that was just, little fucking free story for y'all. But anyway, I was trying to find that friend's house. I was looking for hours. My phone died, so I couldn't just, I couldn't call her or anything. I was just looking everywhere. I went down the streets. I went down every fucking block, everywhere. I couldn't find the house for the life of me. So eventually, I just gave up. I was like, I can't do this. Chandler, you know what? Chandler doesn't really fuck me over ever. There's been a number of times he has, not intentionally, but this was one of them where he really fucking screwed me over. You know what? I needed to be able to go to his house this night. I was like, dude, you can't back out on me. I'm getting the beer already. I'm getting 24 cans of beer. I can't just go back home with this. You need to be able to, have a sleepover and stuff. And he told me he could, so I was waiting, and then he told me he couldn't. I was fucked. It was like 9 p.m. by this point, so I couldn't just go back home. It was already too late, and my house was locked and stuff, so it would have been way too hard to explain. But and the worst part is, guys, I had to work the next day, so it was just all the more cooked. But I kept walking around. I was trying to find my friend Ashley's house. Hydration break, yo. Holy shit. If y'all got water, grab your water. I need some water right now. Fucking, my throat is parched. So much better. Okay. Anyway, I couldn't find my friend's house, so eventually I just folded. I was like, I'm done with the search. I can't do this anymore. So I went to a local park. I went into this porta potty. It was freezing cold by this point. I was shivering. All I had was my winter coat. I gotta tell you guys this too. As I was trying to find my friend Ashley's house, one of the cans of beer broke inside the bag, so there was just cold beer dripping down my leg the entire night. The back of my leg was just soaked with fucking beer, and it was horrible. It was all the more reason to just fucking hate life at that moment. And eventually I went to the fucking porta potty. I was in defeat. I was sore. I was tired. I was like, I just need to go to bed. This night's been a fucking horror show. And I tried going to bed. I was just shivering. I was in the porta potty, and I was like, fuck this shit. I'm just going to drink another beer. I need another beer. Like, this shit's been fucked. So I chugged another beer. I got a little more drunk. I was like, all right, whatever. I can't really do much. I don't have a phone. I don't have, like, any entertainment. So I'm just going to try to go to bed and just try to, sleep this off. And I couldn't fall asleep because if you ever slept in a porta potty, it's not comfortable. And I empathize with homeless people now. They have it hard. It's kind of their fault sometimes that they're in that situation. I'm not saying all the time. Sometimes it's their fault they're in that situation. A lot of the time. But I empathize. It's fucking difficult. It sucks. Like, I was shivering. It wasn't even the coldest night. It was probably like maybe like 50 or 55 degrees outside. Maybe like 40, like coldest, which is pretty cold, all things considered. But, I can't even imagine, like, if it was even colder. Like, that's fucked. But eventually, there's a church nearby, and I was just hoping and praying. I couldn't go to bed. It was probably, like, maybe 2 a.m. by this point. And I was just like, all right, I'm just going to go inside this church. I'm praying, because I couldn't fall asleep in this porta potty. It was too cold. It was too uncomfortable. I was just going to fall asleep on, like, one of the benches or something. So I got up. I walked, just tired as fuck. I was exhausted. I walked to the church. Luckily, the door was open, so I went in there. It was horrifying. It was just pitch black. There was like creaking noises and shit. It was just like fucking like I just heard like creaks everywhere and stuff. I don't know. It was horrifying. And I went upstairs. There was like a second balcony kind of thing, and there's like a bunch of like benches and stuff, and there's like an organ and stuff. And I went on one of the benches. It's like a long wooden bench, like one of those, just classic church, fucking stool, whatever you want to call it. It's just like in any church. It's just like one of those long wooden, things you sit on, benches. So I set up camp there. I was laying down, and I was still freezing, and I drank another beer because I was like, dude, I just, it's been a shit night. I'm going to drink another beer. All right, I don't know if you guys can picture this, but just imagine a fucking dark, horrifying, creepy church at night. The basement was the only place that had a piano cloth. So I gathered the courage. I drank that last beer. I gathered the courage. And I went down the stairs. They were creaking every step. It was like... Every step was just creaking. And the fucking floors were just like stone floors. So every step was just like I don't know how to make a fucking stone noise. But you know what I'm talking about. Like just a solid stone floor. Like with like shoes on it. I don't know. It was loud because it was dark, and everything's loud in the nighttime when you're walking around. But I went to the basement. I grabbed a piano cloth as my blanket. I got back up the stairs, all safe and sound. I went to bed. I woke up at like 7 in the morning. It was like Saturday, luckily, so I don't think anyone went to church that day. If people would have, they would have seen me just sleeping there because I would have woken up at like 7. And I just walked home. I went to the side of my house that didn't have cameras. It was like by the kitchen window that I snuck out of. And I put my bag of beer there. And I drank all the beers that were in my coat pocket, luckily, because, I couldn't really bring those inside my house. Like, I drank all those the night before, so I wouldn't have to worry about that. And I just had that, like, fucking sack filled with fucking beer cans, the string bag. I went inside. It was like 7 a.m. I was like, yeah, they had stuff to do, so I had to go back home. And I just went to my bed. I passed the fuck out. I had work at like 11 in the morning, like a 6-hour shift. And I worked at fucking Herbert's and Gerbert's, so I was working with people all day. I had to talk to motherfuckers. I was dealing with people's bullshit, fucking doing sandwiches and shit. My fucking crazy boss who did cocaine on his desk and shit was just bitching at me. And one time he threw a fucking sandwich at me. That's a whole different story, but yeah. Anyway, it was a shit day. Would not recommend, but I thought it was an interesting story. Being homeless for a night, drunk as fuck, sleeping in a church. Not a hoot or a holler, not a banger or a thrower, but I thought you guys might enjoy the story nonetheless. And yeah, it was fucking horrendous. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed, and have a wonderful day. Peace out.